Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Will Motivation, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you my hints or tips on buying your first exotic car.
Motivation. That's right.
Welcome to Will Motivation. Holla.
Now, why are we going over the hints and tips of buying an exotic car? Because this weekend on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we are actually going to introduce the new car to the channel. It's going to be a new exotic supercar. We'll be in Chicago. I'll go live. So you guys make sure to tune into that. But I thought, as a way to kind of get you guys excited about, when you get your exotic car, your supercar, let's talk about some of the things that you need to be ready for, some of the things you need to do when you're ready to buy that exotic. Okay, so let's jump right into it. As I mentioned in the intro, this Saturday I'm getting ready to pick up the next car for the channel. The car is going to go by the name of Action. So as you guys know, if I name the car usually will stay on the channel for a while. And this car that I'm getting ready to pick up will be on the channel, but you got to tune in on Saturday if you want to basically see in real time what the new channel car is going to be. So I think you guys are going to like it. If you didn't see in previous videos, I had to make some space in the garage for Action, and we had to get rid of Knowledge. Kind of got some sad news, but there's a silver lining. You know what I'm saying? But don't worry. So a lot of people were like, they weren't ready to see the Lamborghini Huracan go. But if you like the Lamborghini Huracan, then you will like the next car for the channel. So just stay tuned for that. Appreciate all you guys tuning in and watching the channel. So as I kind of get ready and get excited about picking up this new channel car, I figured I would do a video on some of the things that you have to do when you're ready to buy your first exotic. All right, so let's just get right into it and run down the list. All right, let's go. The first thing that I recommend that you do when you're gonna buy your first exotic car or your first supercar is make sure you can afford it. So I know that's a general statement, and you're probably saying, well, what does that mean? How much money do I have to make in order to afford that particular car? Well, the way I like to look at it is you should be able to handle, first of all, a lot of people say you should be able to pay cash for the vehicle, or you should pay cash for the vehicle. I don't necessarily believe that you should pay cash when you buy your first exotic, but I believe that you should have enough money to where you could pay cash if you wanted to, but you might have that cash invested in other areas or businesses that make you money. So you might finance the supercar. But if anything goes wrong with that supercar or that exotic car, usually the repairs and the parts for exotic cars are more expensive than your average everyday car. So you should be prepared and have money set aside to handle any of the repairs that might come up on the exotic, especially if it's used. Now, if it's a new car that has, a brand new car and it has 3 years of warranty on it, for example, then you might not have to worry about being able to afford the repairs. But I feel like if you're going to buy an exotic car, which is beyond just your normal everyday usage type of a car, it's a luxury. I feel like you should have enough money set aside to handle any type of emergency that can happen with that car. And I feel like you should be in a financial position to where buying an exotic car will make sense. Now, a lot of people on YouTube buy exotic cars because they're YouTubers and they use the cars to get more views. But I'm speaking for the average Joe that's not a YouTuber that wants to buy an exotic car. And that number one thing I suggest is that you can afford the exotic. So that means the payments, that means buying it in cash and having cash left over. If you did buy it in cash, if you're making payments on it, you should still be able to buy it in cash, but you might have that money in other places. But be ready and prepared to pay for any repairs or expenses or even maintenance that might come up on an exotic. Just for example, this Lamborghini Gallardo behind me, known as the Green Goblin. This is my third Lamborghini Gallardo. To get an oil change on this car is probably going to run around $300. Now, that might not be as much as some other repairs on this car, but just to give you an idea, a regular oil change on a regular car might be 30, 40, 50 bucks. On this car, it might be 300 bucks, okay? So be sure that you can afford the car, all right? So that's number one. Number two, make sure that you check the price of insurance, all right? So that goes hand in hand with number one, being able to afford the car. Make sure you can afford the insurance. So how do you do that? You basically call up State Farm or whoever your insurance provider is and get a quote. So you're gonna have to give them the VIN number, you're gonna have to give them the year, make, and model, and the location where you're gonna have the car, and title the car, and register the car, and all that kind of stuff. You're gonna have to give the insurance company that information, and then they'll come back to you with a 6-month, a 12-month, or even a month-to-month quote, so you know exactly how much you're gonna have to pay for insurance, which is really, really important, because if it's a very expensive exotic car, you wanna carry full insurance just in case anything happens to it, it will be covered, right? So having full coverage insurance, usually a little bit more expensive, and then having insurance on an exotic is more expensive. So you want to be prepared to pay those insurance premiums, all right? So just to give you an example, the insurance on my Lamborghini Gallardo is about 120 bucks a month. The insurance on my Lamborghini Huracan was about 180 bucks a month. So just to give you an idea, it's a lot more expensive than like the insurance on my Mustang or my Audi, for example. All right, so make sure you check the price of insurance before you buy the exotic, so you know what your expenses are gonna be. Okay, number three, which really goes hand in hand again with number one, making sure you can afford the car. Make sure you do research and you can afford the common repairs to the vehicle. Okay, so how do you find out what those common repairs are? Well, basically you can get the manufacturer's booklet on the car, and it will tell you the recommended maintenance. Then you can call the dealership for the brand of the car that you want to buy, and you can ask them how much those different services cost on the vehicle and how much the normal maintenance is on the vehicle, like oil changes, filter changes, changing the brakes, changing the tires, all of those different things. Make sure you know what those expenses are, because once you tally up all the expenses, you'll have an idea if you really can afford the car, and if you even really want to buy the car and maintain it for however many years you have the car, all right? So make sure you understand the cost of the common repairs. Now, the next thing I'm gonna recommend is a big one, and it's also another way you can find out what the common repairs are for a vehicle, and that is when you're looking at an exotic car, whatever year, make, and model it is, go on the internet and do some research and find the forums associated with that type of car. So for example, with Lamborghinis, there's a couple of big forums. One of them is called Lamborghini Talk, and the other one is called like Lambo Power or something like that. I became a member of both of those forums when I started looking to buy my first Lamborghini, and I started researching all of the common problems that people have, like with Gallardos and then with Huracans. And I found out with the Lamborghini Gallardo, a very typical expensive item, probably the most common expensive item to repair on a Lamborghini Gallardo is the clutch on the E-gear or on the manual Gallardos. Clutch can be anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 to replace the clutch on these cars, and that's a wear and tear item. So a lot of times you're gonna have to do it if you keep the car long enough. All right, so make sure you research the online forums for the exotic car that you wanna buy. Find out what problems those cars have and how much it costs to repair those issues, especially if you're buying a used car. If it's a new car, you might not have to worry about that as much because it might be under warranty. All right. Next, speaking of warranties, the next thing you want to consider is possibly getting an extended warranty. Now, when I bought my Lamborghini Gallardos, I did not get an extended warranty because they were a little bit too old. and the companies that were providing the warranties, I wasn't very comfortable with them. But when I bought my more expensive Lamborghini Huracan, that car cost over $200,000, and I wanted to make sure I had a warranty on it, because if something major happened to that Lamborghini Huracan, I did not want to pay for it for sure. So what I did is I paid an extra $6,000 or $7,000, and I got an extended warranty for like 2 years on my Lamborghini Huracan. And luckily that car had 0 issues, but I had that peace of mind. So you might want to consider getting an extended warranty if you buy a used exotic car. So that's the other thing. All right, next up. 2 things I'm going to recommend related to researching the car that you want to buy. So once you've identified the car that you want, the exotic that you want, make sure to check 2 resources that I'm going to recommend. Carfax, of course. A lot of you guys know what Carfax is, so I don't have to go into that, but it basically, you can put in the VIN number of a car and you can find out the history of the car. You can sometimes see the maintenance done on the car. You can see how many owners the car has had and if it's been in any accidents. And accidents are very important with exotics, because people that buy exotics don't want the cars to have any accidents, and it will drop the value tremendously if you buy a car that has had an accident, and it makes it harder for you to sell it when you want to get rid of it. The other thing that you can do to check the history of a car is check VinWiki, VINWIKI, VinWiki. A lot of you guys are probably familiar with his channel on YouTube. So shout out to Ed Bolian. He has a great YouTube channel, but he has an app that you can basically take a VIN number and search on the history of a car, similar to Carfax, but the details and the information that you can find in VinWiki is above and beyond Carfax a lot of times, because the owners will put in information about the cars, or random people will see things about the cars and put that information in, especially related to accidents. All right, so check the history of the vehicle you want to purchase. Next up, thing I'm going to recommend is always get a PPI before you buy a vehicle, especially if it's used, right? So PPI is a pre-purchase inspection, and basically you want to take the car to either a dealership that specializes in that particular car that you want to buy, or take it to an expert like a repair shop where they know the ins and outs of that particular vehicle that you want to buy, and have them do a pre-purchase inspection. Usually will cost anywhere from $100 to $500, and they will go over the entire car and tell you anything that is wrong with it, any wear and tear items that need to be fixed or replaced, and then the general condition of the car. Even if you can see the car, you want to get a PPI on an exotic, because if you miss something, it can be super, super expensive to fix later. Okay, so the last thing on my list, when you're ready to buy your first exotic car or your first supercar, is to make sure you do your research on YouTube, because a lot of the information out there on YouTube is specific to certain cars. So like, for example, I've done a lot of videos on Lamborghini Gallardos. I've done a lot of videos on Lamborghini Huracans. You could actually go on YouTube and just put in the name, year, make, and model of your car, and see all of these videos that will pop up reviewing the car, owners talking about their ownership experience of the car, any problems and things of that nature that they might have had with the car. A lot of times people will put that on YouTube. So make sure when you're going to go buy your first exotic car that you consult with YouTube. And a lot of times you can comment on people's videos and ask the owner or the person that posted the video questions about their particular car, and they will be happy to answer. Like when people ask me questions about my Lamborghini Huracan or my Lamborghini Gallardos in the past, I will be happy to answer them truthfully and honestly, because I have nothing to gain from not being honest with people. All right. So make sure you check YouTube, watch all of the videos related to the type of car you want to buy. Make sure you match it up with the year, because different years of cars have different issues. And just do your due diligence so that you can be confident that you know what to expect once you pull the trigger and once you have that car. All right. Now, I have owned at this point 5 different Lamborghinis. I've had 2 different Porsche GT3s and all different types of cars. And luckily, I have not had any major problems with any of the exotic cars that I purchased. But I can guarantee you, I did a lot of research on those vehicles before I purchased them. And in some cases, I bought extended warranties and I tried to cover my butt. So I figured I would just do this video to kind of share with you guys when you go to get your first exotic or your first supercar, some things to look out for, and make sure that you don't miss the live stream coming up on Saturday, October 19th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to live stream picking up Action, the next car for the channel. It's going to be lit. I hope you guys like it. Again, my name is Will Motivation. If you have not subscribed to the channel already, please consider subscribing. And I will see you guys in the next video. And hopefully I'll talk to you guys on Saturday in the live stream. All right. So if you guys got any questions, make sure to drop me a comment and let me know what kind of videos you want to see next on the channel. And if you have any questions about supercar ownership or exotic car ownership, make sure to drop me a comment as well. Peace. Hey, I just wanted to say thanks for watching today's video. There's a lot more to come. Hit that like button for me and subscribe to my channel. A lot of you guys have been asking me about when is my online course going to be ready. Well, I have good news for you. My online course is completed. I'll put a link in the description of this video where you can click on that link and get a 40% discount off the course. That'll be for the first 50 students. So if you're ready to take the online course that I've basically laid out everything that I know about how to invest in real estate, click the link below or just go to www.willmotivation.com/invest. And thank you guys for taking the time out to watch today's video. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.